Hey guys, so we have not talked about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta in a minute, but we gonna get into it because this last episode was pretty good. I would give it a maybe a 9 out of 10. There was a lot of things going on, a lot of moving pieces. But what I want to get into right now is Bambi of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the ex-wife of Scrappy. Yeah. Well, she was engaged to this guy, calls himself Rayface. And we're going to get into it because it's a lot of moving pieces to this relationship and who Bambi really is. Because frankly, in the relationship with Scrappy, not saying that Scrappy was perfect because we know he's by far not that. But it seemed like she had a issue with the relationship or, that he had with his daughter, Imani. And if you guys recall, there was this big situation where Bambi was actually online going back and forth with what I'm going to say is a child. Now, Imani is a lot older now, but let's get into it because Rayface said that, well, what he said was since he got with Bambi, he hadn't saw his daughter. So let's kind of get into this relationship because it seems like Bambi was desperate for a storyline. Let's get into it, y'all.
Please, please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
I know it was something different. I didn't have my headphones on and today, and I'm like, something ain't right. But listen, let me kind of break it down for y'all. Listen, these people are on these reality shows, and it's just not like what we used to see. A lot of times, this stuff is fabricated. And let me kind of get into the fabrication of it all. Okay. Y'all know Shekinah was let go, Chaotic was let go. It was some more folks that was let go too, but those are just the ones that I can remember. So they were at, and this is what I've been told that they were at these folks like, look, y'all need to have something interesting. Bambi looks like she jumped the gun with this guy, got all engaged, only to have it fall apart, which is probably showing that she really wasn't she didn't know him like she really thought that she did. Now, if you guys recall, not sure if you watched the episode, it was a lot going on, but here she's kind of explaining to Malaysia some things, or Malaysia is confirming some things, but let's kind of get into it.
It's not my fiance anymore. Since the engagement party, you guys have seen the headlines. I chose not to respond publicly, but
So basically, she's explaining to Malaysia that she is no longer with this guy. And basically, what Bambi is saying is they are not together based on his behavior. One, she's saying, he was drinking. Um, and she was kind of alluding to, that he had some volatile behavior. Now, she didn't say, that he did anything to her, but it seems like the issue was him going after Zell or maybe attempting to go after Zell. If y'all recall, he did it. He did a whole live earlier in the year where he talked about some things had transpired, and we saw this go down the headlines. They're engaged. The engagement ended. Yada yada. So let's get into a little bit more.
I have officially called off the engagement. Out of respect for the situation that we did have, I don't want to go into too much detail.
So she said she doesn't want to go into too much detail, but she actually did go into detail. If y'all watched the show, she kind of explained that, listen, he was basically acting like he was ready to knock somebody out, is pretty much what she said. So she does go into detail. And seemingly, what she said is she really didn't want to be in a relationship anymore just because of that. Well, here's my deal. That could very well be true, but I'm just wondering, girl, how much did you know this guy? Because you didn't know him enough to know how he gets in these situations. She went on to say that it was his drinking. And I'm like, girl, you didn't know that he be getting, when he drink liquor, that this is how he act. So it just gave me the indication of girl, were you desperate for a storyline to get with this man? Because I get what she's saying, but the little stuff that she's saying about him, these would have been things that she would have known had she had taken her time to get to know him. So it's given me the idea of she did not know this man and she jumped into this relationship just probably to be, get a storyline. As y'all know, Scrappy has a few little storylines going. One being, that he has his baby by this woman that he don't know. And then now he's in a relationship with some realtor. So is she trying to compete for story? Again, Love and Hip Hop ain't playing with these folks. They are letting them go. Now, what we first saw is that, everybody was happy. Bambi is engaged, yada, yada. People was happy to see it. It did seem like a rush situation, but hey, if you found love, you found love.
She had to bring in the cake. This cake is sponsored by Generosity. Hold on. It ain't no good. It ain't no good. Y'all got to send me. Oh, what does that mean? What you
That's a happy birthday. Moody cake, girl.
You ain't saying yes or no. That's an engagement.
Now, to be honest, there were a few things that happened between the two of them. I know there was one instance where he actually gave her a ring, and then there was an instance where he actually, that it was considered an engagement. Now, if this is not the video, y'all know that they actually did get engaged. But what we learned very quickly is that the engagement was called off, and it was called off rather quick. What Bambi explained in the latest episode of Love and Hip Hop is basically, she said this guy was drinking, and then this last straw for her is when he was getting loose, acting like he was gonna get into Zell, and maybe some more folks. So what we learned is that they had broke off their engagement. Sources say their split happened after he allegedly forced his way into her home. Now, he did do a video about that, so let's kind of get into it. Because I know some of y'all, especially if you don't live in Georgia, you probably like, what the hell is going on? So what he did say when he went live is he said that he wanted to get his things out of Bambi's home. He said he had jewelry, some very expensive things that he wanted to get out because I guess they had broken. She had quit him and he just wanted to get his stuff, which is understandable. She wouldn't let him in. So what ended up happening is he called the police. Maybe she called him. I don't know. But the police ended up being there. He explained to them what had happened. And they told him, if you live there, if you have things there, you can break the door in. And they will tell you that. That's why it's very important. If you live in Georgia, do not let folks stay at your house if you really don't want them there. So he said, and he kicked it down or in because he needed to get his items. Which I guess I can understand because listen, if you don't want me there, just I guess let me get my things. He explained that in very much detail. Like I said, he did a live and he went on and kind of explained what had happened in that situation. So now we're actually seeing this play out on our screens because now we're like, okay, this is what really happened. Now, what we learned is no, they're not following each other. They're pretty much over, and Bambi kind of explained that on the episode. But here's another thing for y'all. I don't know if anybody recall, but stuff had came out with regard to Rayface and actually being in a relationship. And allegedly, I don't know if this part is true, but they said he had a girlfriend, he had children. Now, it's not quite uncommon for people not to have children and be in other relationships. That happens. People break up, they get with other people. But if y'all remember this, they said that Rayface had a whole damn family, which was insinuating that he had a woman, kids, yada, yada. Again, the kid part is not too far-fetched because people do have children. Well, this is what ended up happening. I don't know if y'all recall this. He had posted a bunch of images celebrating the holiday, which was Father's Day. But what ended up happening is the fans quickly noticed that, oh, it's a different woman. But obviously, if he had, kids with somebody else and not Bambi, it would be a different woman. So that is pretty much what they stated, because he had posted these pictures and they was like, wait a minute. But what ended up happening with that situation is they ended up getting into it, him and Bambi, in terms of, I guess they unfollowed each other again. Well, this is the part that I want to show you all, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but it always seemed to me as if she had a problem with Scrappy's daughter, Imani. Now, I could be wrong, but what I recall from just watching the show, it just seemed like she really wanted to come between that relationship. And let me just tell you why. You got a woman who has married this man. He has a daughter that he had before he met you, but your as a stepmother, you getting into it with her online. I thought that was very weird. But now this is the part that really makes it believable in terms of who this woman really is. Now, this guy Rayface said, now it is his responsibility though to see his own daughter, but he said he had a relationship with his daughter until he got with Bambi, which is really weird, because I feel like relationships gonna bring out the good in you or the worst in you. Why is it that you went and got engaged to a woman, but yet you really abandon your own daughter? Y'all, let's get into what this dude had to say.
You know what's crazy about women though? Nah, let me be careful.
Not all the women, JoJo.
Yeah. When they see somebody like Bam, can I call her the Bam?
Yeah,
let me
that's
call her
her name.
Bam. I don't know like that, but give me permission to call her. When they see somebody like her, I already know the hate is like,
through the roof.
I don't want you seeing your kids for the next 15 years, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Because as soon as they see her, they like, now if she was somebody busted, they'd be like, oh, come get the kids. Somebody like Bam, they like, nah, you ain't seen your kids for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. It's
you
like
can't
that.
hate on a man because he moved on with somebody who looks
like,
better than her.
He knows it's like that. Ain't it like that?
Yeah.
It's like
that's terrible.
It started off like when we first started like hitting the blogs and stuff. She was like, my baby mama like blowing me up, letting me talk to my daughter every day and shit. Cause my daughter in California. And after it started getting serious, man, I ain't talked to my daughter since.
For real? Still to this day?
To this day, I ain't talked to her.
So I guess that can be looked at two different ways. What he said was, once, when they were on the blogs, whatever, he was seeing his daughter every day. Once they got serious, he was no longer seeing his daughter. Here's the deal. Is the mother responsible for calling you to have you talk to your daughter, or are you as a father responsible? Listen, we looking at the same situation. So I don't know how y'all see it. Maybe he's saying, oh, the baby mama didn't let me see, or she didn't, she wasn't calling. But were you trying to speak to your daughter? This relationship was doomed to fail. The man clearly said before they got together, he was seeing his daughter. Then after we were on the blogs, I wasn't seeing my daughter. And I know some of y'all gonna say, well, maybe the mother or whatever, she wasn't doing whatever it was she needed to do to, I guess, for him to see the daughter. See, I don't agree or believe that, because he as a father would need to take the initiative to see his own daughter. But here you are with this lady in this new relationship. Wouldn't she know that you have a daughter? I would assume if you with her all day, every day, at some point she would say, well, when was the last time you talked to your daughter? Bambi, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, desperate for love and a storyline. This relationship did not work. Let me know what y'all think. Or do y'all think maybe it was done really for the cameras? As y'all know, with these shows, if they don't have a storyline, they will be fired. And I just feel like it's something about this relationship that's not adding up. If y'all go back and watch when she had him on prior to them actually being engaged, the woman said he's living with the man. So I'm like, how is it that you are making a long-term commitment to be with somebody and you don't even know Like that don't even make sense. Y'all let me know what y'all
She don't
think.
miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeyshakeysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the